Uh, last 5 minutes in here, and I'm gonna take my time with this because I'm gonna cook on this one. Joy Taylor said some crazy things. All right. This is what she said.
She's not wrong. You said it's polarizing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What does the definition of polarizing mean? It means there's one side or the other, right? If it's not polarizing, it's just a cheeky conversation. Polarization requires debate. It requires passion. People feel very strongly about opinions. They want to argue one side or the other. How did that happen? How did we get here? What she just said, the national championship game. We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this, and pointed to the ring. This is not my opinion. I lived it. I watched it. It was recorded. It was broadcasted live. We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before that moment. And that's okay, because you can be extremely talented and not interesting. There are a lot of extremely talented athletes and games and series and sports that we don't talk about daily on this show because the public has not shown enough interest in them.
Okay. And that's just a snippet of what she said. And, just to paraphrase the whole snippet of that segment, she's just kind of saying like, hey, maybe Angel Reese ain't crazy that, hey, it wasn't just Caitlin Clark and y'all might not have. Look, I've only used that clip to point out my take. And here's why I think Joy Taylor might be not too far off from what she's saying. I do slightly kind of think that, she was kind of off kilt. Hey, Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark. She's a baller. I think people were talking about her before that national championship game. They were already kind of talking about her a couple of games before that in the tournament. But for those who was really watching women's basketball, Caitlin was part of that class with Cardosa, Reese, Paige Beckers, and Cameron Brink. Classes coming into college basketball. All right. So they were all in that. So ranking wise, Caitlin Clark was up there. Now, in the talking heads wise, no, she wasn't being talked about on a regular basis. See, but that's the thing about when you look at those shows, they're looking at they're looking for the the things that is gonna the hashtags and what's gonna make the headlines and what's gonna be thought provoking. Their strategy to what they do, and they're looking like, oh well, people care about this. Let's talk about this, and let's keep talking about this because that's the only thing they care about, quote unquote. They're looking at the numbers. Where the masses at. That's what they're looking at, sports-wise. Where the masses at. Each day by day. What are the numbers saying? They're looking at all the social media accounts. Who hashtagging? What are they talking about? What are people on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? What are they talking about? Huh? That's what they're looking at. They're looking at those numbers. And that's when you look at your topics on your FS1s and your first takes and on ESPN. They're looking at what you're doing on your social media page, what you're talking about. Oh well, if they're only talking about three things, and guess what? You know what they're going to do? They're going to take three things, and they're going to ask one question about one subject 8 different ways. Y'all don't pay attention to these formulas, how they do this shit? But here's my thing, and I'm going to get to my point, all right? When you look at the conversation of these Caitlin Clark fans who are just strictly Caitlin Clark fans in the WNBA, who strictly just love Caitlin Clark because they saw that last few games, the national championship game with Angel Reese, and they saw what was going on next year, and then boom, she's in the WNBA. Now she's been in WNBA for now. This is 2 years. Going on this is her second year. All right. And I'm not gonna take nothing away from Caitlin, all right, because I think she's phenomenal. I think she is she can be the face of the WNBA. And let's be honest, she is the face of the WNBA, not by skill wise, but because this cult love affair, LeBron-esque type cult love affair, is crazy right now. And it makes the conversation around the WNBA even crazy. But to the bigger point, I'm just confused on how this conversation around Caitlin has been so loved and beloved about these Caitlin Clark fans. And unfortunately, they do make it about race. So my question is okay, so why isn't that same attitude not applied to a Cameron Brink? Or, for instance, a Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers always been that. Paige Beckers has always been that. All right? She's always been that. She's a champion. All right? Listen to this.
I'm a fan of Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
But Paige Beckers was one of those little kids that had that right up to say she's going to be one of the greatest women basketball players ever when she was young. But her journey wasn't easy. The ACL injury she dealt with. Still get back to the level of greatness that we expected from a Paige Beckers. She did it right away. Still became a national champion.
I worked so hard. I changed who I am as a person, as a player. When this injury first happened, I thought a lot about Kobe. He just looked at his injury as another way to prove people wrong. You can't just go through life and everything's going to be perfect. Everything's going to be great. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be rough times.
And so, she's ready to be the number one pick because she's shown through her journey that she can overcome everything.
And that clip, it tells everything about Paige. I mean, literally. And that's what I'm saying. This is not a slight on Caitlin Clark. I'm just moving to the bigger point on y'all chose to dawn and night Caitlin Clark when there was just so many others that were just ballers. Ballers. Paige Beckers has always been like that. And I think the bigger thing is y'all fell in love with Caitlin Clark, the underdog, middle of Iowa. Oh man, love it. Now she's Indiana Fever, love it. America. But what I'm saying is like, hey, if we're talking about skill level, basketball skill level, I don't think it's close. I think Paige is like that. And Caitlin does got skills, but if we're talking flaws, the flaws are there. All right? Say what you want. All right? Because let's break it down. All right? And this where we at. Let's break it down. All right? Granted, she's only played 9 games this year. All right? But of those 9 games, 29 and a half, that's not pretty. That's not great. Ain't that supposed to be her specialty? Ain't that what we was hyping Caitlin, the hype? Oh, man, she's Steph Curry. Steph Curry ain't never shot on 29 and a half. That was the main talking point about Caitlin Clark. Again, this is not me hating on Caitlin. This is facts. It's right here. Shooting 39% from the floor. Okay. You watch the games? I do. She's not making her shot selection is still crazy. Her shot, she's not efficient. All right. Let's just call, if we're talking basketball, she's not efficient. Okay. She's going to give you 9 assists. That's fine. She's going to give you 6 turnovers. All right. All right. Paige. 13 games. I get it. I know. Disparity. 13 and 9 games. I understand. Cool. But I'm just pointing out. Obviously, you know, Paige, she's not a 3-point shooter. All right. 33 from behind the arc. Okay. But the field goal percentage is higher. It is. Not that much. Obviously, the points are, everything's going to end up balancing out, but the turnovers right here. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. If you're keeping the turnovers down low as the superstar, I like you. You're not giving the opponents extra opportunities. You're going to be more efficient. I'm cool with that. Again, this is not a dig at Caitlin. This is you. I'm talking to you. You Caitlin Knights. That's this cult following that really only just love Caitlin Clark and only watch the WNBA specifically for Caitlin Clark. Anything else you hate. You don't even like Angel Reese. Okay, cool, whatever. That's her nemesis from college, whatever. Okay, whatever. Y'all probably don't even know who Asia Wilson is. Huh? So I know for a fact you don't know who Paige Beckers is. And this is crazy that you don't know who Paige Beckers was. Been a baller. Been like that. Hell, I'm going to take it a step further. You Caitlin Clark fans, why didn't y'all have that same aura and feeling and just really cult-like following around Sabrina Ionescu? Baller. Huh? Look what she does. She keeps the turnovers down. Huh? Oh, 93% from the free throw line. You know, let's work on the field goal percentage. Slightly better at the 3-point percentage, but still, all I'm saying is y'all made a whole cult following around Caitlin Clark, but the game. The game about her being a 3-point shooter. I get it. It's 9 games, but still, that's more than enough sample size, and you shooting 29.5%. All right, let's call it 30%. Cool, whatever. And that's where all your shots are going to be, and your high turnover rate. That's not efficient. So you Clarkites, whatever nickname I'm gonna come up for y'all on to describe y'all cult following. Look, don't come after me and call me a hater. I'm just being honest about what you watch a Caitlin Clark game. Is she going to make miraculous plays and throw up some, crazy shots and put them down? Yes. She's going to get hot at some point? Yes. But she's not an efficient basketball player when it comes to shot selection, and when you add in the fact that she's going to have a high turnover game. Don't believe me? Go look what she was doing in Iowa. It was the same thing. You know why she didn't win a national championship game? Is because there were times where she was not an efficient shooter in high turnovers. That's been her game. Great player, yes. But we can't get too caught up in the fandom to understand that the reality that there are flaws in players' games. There's flaws in LeBron's games. There's flaws in, some of the players' games today. You can probably find a flaw in your quote unquote superstars. That's just what it is. Not everybody can be great, excellent, damn near perfect. It's not everybody. But I just can't sit here and just understand that how did all this cult following just strictly stick to Caitlyn, and you say it's about the basketball that made you a strictly, because if that's the case, then you should have already been fans of pure basketball players like a Sabrina Ionescu, like a Paige Bueckers, if that's the case, if you're being honest. If it's about basketball, you should have already been hardcore fans of them. You should have already known their names. You should have already known Asia Wilson. You should already know about Kelsey Plum. You should have already known about them. You should have already known about damn near half the league. You should have already known about them. You should have already known about Breanna Stewart. You should have already known about Aaliyah Boston. You should have already known about all of them. Come on now. So that's why when I pull up the Joy Taylor clip to tie it all back together, if it's about basketball, then that situation with Angel Reese shouldn't even matter. So now I think you're proving that part of Joy Taylor's point, that it was about that Angel Reese situation that made you a fan, that you hated Angel Reese that much that I got to absolutely be so pro Caitlin Clark and so anti Reese. So now you made them tied together. You made them connected together. So then when Joy Taylor says it's a take like that and your behavior reflects that, she's not wrong in that instance. All the other stuff in that whole clip, in that whole segment, y'all can eat her up for that. All right. I'm talking about specifically that and how I literally just took it to that point that if you literally love basketball, the Angel Reese moment it don't matter. Because you know about other baller ass Blanco chicks that's been balling. You know about them. So now I think you are proving that point, that connection of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So when y'all behave in that cult-like behavior, that's what it looks like. Because that cult-like behavior wasn't there until then. That's all. That's all. All right, y'all. Let's call it a wrap.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. LW Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar.